Hello again from Speed Zone Automotive. This is the latest installment. It's going to be a two-part installation. We're going to be doing turbo inlet pipe installation, and we're going to be doing PCV Catch Can installation. This is the old turbo inlet pipe that was taken off. The stock inlet pipe for, this happens to be a 2009 GTR. The inlet size starts at 2 inches on the one side, but when it goes down to the turbo side, it shrinks down to 1 3/4 inches. You wouldn't think that would make a big difference in the amount of performance, but in this case it does. The new one, the 2012 inlet pipes, are 2 inch to 2 inch. So what I did, I bought some 2012 inlet pipes, which fit on the same way, and did the install. A friend of mine who has a GTR, he runs ethanol. He did the same swap, and with the newer inlet pipes, he picked up 27 wheel horsepower on ethanol. And this, I mean, was the only change, was changing the turbo inlet pipes. So that's pretty good horsepower for just that kind of a change on ethanol. On regular gas, you're going to pick up less, but it's still going to be an improvement. So it's not an easy job. I mean, it's not impossible, but to work on this car, to get to anything, is always a pain. I'm going to try to tell you some things that will make the installation quite a bit easier. The first thing you're going to need to do is the auxiliary belt tensioner. You're going to need to remove that. Not a big deal. Remove the tension. There's a little hole in the outside of the housing, and you made it up with the inside of the housing and put a drill bit or something to hold it. That'll keep the tension off, and then unscrew it and remove it. Remove the belt, and now you'll have a little better access to the power steering pump, which also needs to be removed. You don't have to remove the lines on the pump, which is nice, but you do have to remove the power steering pump to get a clear shot at the nuts that hold the turbo inlet pipes on. So remove the the power steering pump, move it out of the way. And on this side, now on the turbo inlet pipes, there's brackets that hold some tubing. It's like hardline tubing, but then some rubber tubing gets attached to it. Those have to come off. What those are is there's a feed line from the valve covers down to the bracket, and then from there it runs down to the turbo inlet pipe. And what it is, it creates a negative pressure in the crankcase for better ring sealing when you're under boost. Now, that's a great thing, but it also sucks, oils and fumes out of your valve cover right into the turbo inlet. I noticed when I took the original turbo inlet pipes off, there was like oil down in the mating seam. There was like a little puddle of oil. And I'm figuring, well, okay, that's, it's sucking oil right into the intake system, which is not a good thing. So I'll get to that in the second part of the install, where I install some positive crankcase ventilation catch cans. Okay, so we've removed the auxiliary belt tensioner. We removed the power steering pump. We remove the brackets that hold the tubing coming from the valve covers. Now on the driver's side, something I did not do, but then after I thought about it, after I was done, I figured, it would have been a lot easier had I done this. The Wastegate actuator on the driver's side, you can see it from the wheel well. Now you're going to remove both wheels and jack the front of the car up. That's going to give you access at least to the bottom nuts on the inlet pipes. And you also need an assistant. With an assistant down there guiding the extensions and the socket onto the lower nut, it makes it a whole lot easier. So have an assistant help you on the bottom nuts. On the top nut over here, you're going to need a mirror to see where you're going. Over here, you can actually see the top nut. If you get it the right angle, you can actually see it, and it's pretty easy to capture from the top. Your straight extensions is all you're going to need, the right length. Once you get the right length, you're good to go. But on this side, on the wastegate actuator, remove the hose that goes to the actuator underneath. If you don't, even though you remove the bracket on the side of the inlet pipe, you will not be able to move it out of the way enough to get a clear shot. When I did it, I had to use like 2 different angle type extensions and hit it at an angle and another angle, and it was a pain. And then I realized, had I removed that tube on the actuator, I could have then got the bracket out of the way and made it a straight shot. So make sure to do that. It'll make it a lot easier. Once you get those items removed, again, with an assistant helping you on the bottom nuts, it makes it a lot easier if somebody's guiding it on while you're up here doing your work up on the top side. Just they come off, they go on, you reattach the brackets. What I did have to do, you'll notice on the Hennessy, this is a Hennessy GTR is what this one is, and they did a kind of a neat thing to seal off this housing that they didn't need. They actually made like a metal cap and then welded it around there, painted it black. It looks real nice, but all you want to do is seal off this fitting. So I went to a fluid connector shop, a hydraulic shop, and they have like high pressure plugs, rubber plugs, but they're made for high pressure. That I got one that just fits over that, and then put a hose clamp around it. Voila! Did the same thing. Easy fix, not expensive. So that's how I handled this rather than welding a cap on there. Okay, now we have the turbo inlet pipes are on. Everything was cool, but I'm still thinking, that oil getting sucked in there is not a good thing. So I contacted Mike Norris Motorsports. Nice guy and great catch cans. I mean, they're a work of art. They're all CNC machined. They have threaded tops and bottoms with O-rings for a perfect fitting. They come with a nice bracket so you can adjust the height or wherever you want it. They came with the tubing. They came with the fittings, the inlet and outlet fittings. So all I really had to do was find a position where they would fit. And the only place I could find was right here, where I had enough space to put them. So once I figured out the distance away from the front cover, and I figured, why don't I just use one of the threaded bolt areas for mounting points. So I figured out how long a bolt I needed, got the proper size bolts. I got a nice it's a black sleeve as a spacer that goes over the bolt, and bolted them right into existing holes that were already there. So it worked out pretty good. But since right below it is the auxiliary belt, just in case the bolts break or vibrate off, whatever, I zip tied these two together to make to give them a little more continuity. But I also safety wired both of them to the ground bolt up here. So in case these bolts do break somehow, I don't think they will. I mean, they're on there good. Just in case, a safety wire is an extra precaution. Another nice thing about the Mike Norris units is that there is a shutoff valve at the bottom. So if you ever want to, drain the oil, if you ever get that much in there, all you have to do is open the stopcock and drain them, and then close it back up, and you're good to go. So again, I think they're $123 each, but they are a work of art. They come in multiple colors. I chose black. They come in red, aluminum. I think there's another color in there. So definitely a good array of colors for whatever you want. But they're a nice unit. So once they're mounted, you just plumb from the valve cover to the inlet, and then the outlet goes back down to the turbo inlet pipe at the fitting that was the same as on the previous inlet pipe, except these are bigger. So that's pretty much it. I think I have covered it all. Again, easy horsepower for the turbo inlet pipes. It's a pain in the butt installation, but I think it's worth the horsepower you pick up. Makes the throttle a little more responsive, and you definitely pick up some horsepower. And then the PCV Catch Cans, instead of that oil getting sucked directly into the turbo, into your intakes, now there's a filter for it where it'll get separated out and fall into the bottom of the catch can before it goes into the turbo entry. That's it for this installment of Speed Zone Automotive, in the quest for more horsepower and a little better engineering, always coming up with something. So until the next time, have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.